How do I 20 female decide between holding out hope for my ex 21 male to return or focusing on moving on? I 20F ended my relationship with my BF 21M of 1 year because it was becoming very toxic and I was tolerating too much disrespect. After 2 months of no contact, we ended up crossing paths with each other and had a conversation. I couldn't help myself. I asked him 21M, why don't we give it another shot? You know, I'm too attached to you. He said, I know I treated you really badly. And then he hit me with the classic, it's not you, it's me. You deserve someone better. I asked, then why not you become that better person? He said, I know I won't be able to change myself. You know, I've messed up so many times and you gave me so many chances. I just end up hurting you more. Try to understand, you'll realize it in a few months that how bad I was for you. He sailed. I've accepted that we can't be together. You don't deserve a guy like me who'll always hurt you. I've been moving on. I am in my single zone, and I don't want to get into a relationship. It's been a month since that last convo, and it's been so hard to move on. I keep remembering the happy moments we shared, even though he's probably moving on just fine. I saw his Instagram. It seems like he's been having fun. Somehow, it feels like I'm stuck between what we had and the reality that he'll never be the person I hoped he could be. And I keep on thinking maybe he'll realize my worth and come back asking for another chance like he did before.
Ashamed of being a virgin at 20. I'm just turning 20 and I feel deeply ashamed of being a virgin at this age. I'm conventionally attractive, fairly intelligent and charming, yet I haven't met a woman that I'll be interested in. It's not really my fault, as I was in a boys-only school and later worked in male-dominant environment as well. My standards are high, but not too high. Still, I feel constant pressure, constant need for validation and reassurance, in every aspect of my life. I feel disgusted thinking about throwing my V card away like it's nothing, but at the same time, I'm losing patience. I know this post is quite pathetic, but I can't help myself. I'm not some raging incel, not at all. I just don't like most people in general regardless of their gender.
I want to die, but I don't know if I have the courage to do it. Content warning, suicide and self-harm. I think I'm done with my life and want to end it. I'm 27 years old and a massive fucking loser. I've been unemployed for over 4 years now. I'm also a virgin, never been in a relationship, have 0 friends, and I still live with and depend on my parents. My parents obviously resent me even if they don't show it. I hate showing my face around them because of how much of a disappointment I am. I hide out in my room most of the time because of this. I just have nothing going for myself. I'm unemployable. I was in school for 6 years and eventually graduated about a year ago. I was stupid enough to get a fucking degree in computer science. All that time was for nothing. My degree is useless. Once I graduated, I basically had a blank resume at 27 years old, so I essentially had nothing to submit on an application. I still have nothing to put down and I have no idea where to start or go from here. All I know is that my education and degree might as well be useless at this point. And thinking about how I'm effectively starting over in life with nothing of value to my name at this age makes me want to die already. I'm just so fucking depressed all the time. I genuinely hate my life and I'm constantly considering suicide as an option. It's never not on my mind. It's always there. I'm just too chicken shit to go through with it, and I hate myself for that. I don't deserve to live.
The reason why the guy, 20 male, I'm talking to seems to avoid me, 20 female, in university? We are the same major and started having classes together this year. We've been talking for over a month now. We've been going on walks. He even invited me over. Our relationship is not defined as I feel it's too early for that, but he knows about the feelings I have for him. So far, our communication has just been friendly. We text almost daily, talk about music and our daily lives. The thing is, this past month that we got to really know each other, we only had our classes online. Now we're back to regular classes, and he's acting really weird. Every time I walk in, he looks as if he's seen a ghost. Sometimes he greets me, sometimes he doesn't. He never initiates any conversation with me while we're around our classmates. It just seems like he's avoiding me. Generally, he's a little shy, I would say. He doesn't have many friends in university, but he talks to really any guy around him. During our first hangout, he couldn't really hold eye contact with me, but I feel like we've gotten closer. Our last hangout was very fun, with us joking around and laughing freely, with him leading most of the conversation. However, even if I consider his shyness, his behavior is really off-putting. It seems like he doesn't want anyone to know he hangs out with me or knows me at all. I feel terrible because of this, because it just feels like I'm too ugly or too lame to acknowledge around other people. We're not dating, but still, we're friendly with each other and have spent a lot of time together. A simple, "Hi, what's up?" would be nice to hear. Even today, he completely ignored my presence for 20 minutes in class, even though I sat right behind him. Finally, he waved to me in a very weird way, as he didn't want anyone to notice him doing it. But right after our class was over, he started texting me. What could be the reason for this behavior? I just feel like he's embarrassed of me. I am HIV positive and it's ruining my life. I, 30 female, found out I have HIV a couple of months ago. It was completely devastating to me. My ex and I had broken up the month before. We had an open relationship and I was completely in love with the FWB I had. When I was diagnosed, that FWB was understandably very scared. We had had a lot of unprotected sex over 2 years. He got tested and was fine. But he said we shouldn't have sex for a while. But I know what that means. I'm still trying to get over that. I know he didn't love me back, but all I wanted was to be with him. I was happy just sleeping with him. I felt blessed and privileged because I considered him to be absolutely perfect and he was so amazing in bed. I really didn't want to lose him. He's still around. He replies to my messages. He never messages me though. And there's no flirting anymore. I'm really struggling to get over him. I recently went on a trip and met a guy at a bar. I kissed him but stopped myself from sleeping with him. We were texting about how we should sleep together. He said I was hot. He was into me. It seemed we were going to be sexually compatible. I was proud of myself for trying to get over FWB, and I really miss having regular sex. Today we were talking about how it had to happen, so I knew it was time to tell him. I told him I was HIV positive and that I was undetectable and I cannot transmit it. I also gave him an out and told him I would understand if he wasn't interested anymore. He said he was sorry I had to deal with that and that he was fine with it as long as he couldn't get it. I was happy about that. When I was first diagnosed, I really thought no one would ever touch me again. Sex is very, very important to me. I was stoked that this guy was okay with this and I thought, okay, if he's okay with it, other people will be too. A little bit later, I noticed he blocked me. I really wish he was just straight up about it. It hurt. Now I'm back to thinking I can't have sex anymore. The timing really sucks. I am single for pretty much the first time ever. I just moved into my first place alone. I desperately wanted to be promiscuous. I can't talk to many people about my situation and I really did just need to get it off my chest because I'm upset. I've had to deal with so much recently and I don't know how I'm coping anymore. I'm sad. A few edits from reading the comments. I did not contract HIV from being irresponsible. I contracted it from my ex-boyfriend who told me he was clean when we first got together. He thought he wasn't. And then my FWB was the first person I slept with entering the open relationship. Yes, I should have gotten tested, but I trusted my ex and he had no idea. FWB did not blame me at all. A lot of people are shaming me for my lifestyle when in reality, I would have it regardless. It wasn't from sleeping with tons of people. Yes, I should have used protection with everyone, but there were a couple of people I trusted enough not to do that. Saying I deserved it is fucked up. I do actually plan on staying single as long as possible, probably forever. FWB showed me how amazing sex is and I was excited to experience that often and with lots of different people. I have taken the past couple months to learn how it's like being on my own and I'm ready to have sex again. To the person who said I was intimate with someone without telling them. No, I wasn't. I kissed him. We didn't even make out. There is an absolute 0 chance. If it were about to go further at all, this is when I would have told him, but instead I just went back to my hotel alone. As soon as sex seemed like a future possibility, I told him and he blocked me after telling me that it's fine. This is what's upsetting me. A future of rejection. Yes, I'm aware I have issues. I've been through a lot in my life and I'm actively working on it and have made a lot of progress in the last few years. To everyone that defended me in the comments, you are all appreciated and I need people like you in my life.
I did a bad thing and now I have to live with it. 12 years ago, when I was 18, I visited my cousin's home for vacation like I usually do every year. Next to his house, there was this woman lived with her husband and 2 daughters. Just like always, we usually spent a lot of our time at her place playing cards and watching movies. She was so kind and beautiful. I loved her. She was also pretty cool around me. One day, while my cousins were out, I went to her house and found her alone doing chores. We talked, and she opened up about her life. She was actually venting, but my focus was on her body. Knowing she was vulnerable at the moment, I started to flirt with her. Assuming she wouldn't have any objection, I started to caress her back and then, within no time, I hugged and kissed her. At first she stood there surprised, but since I didn't stop, she kissed me back. And we ended up having sex. The whole thing just happened under 15 minutes. Yeah, I suck, and I am 100% sure I didn't satisfy her. I left and went to cousin's house. More I thought about what had just happened, more I panicked, fearing her husband would find out. The next day, she acted as if nothing had happened, so when I got the chance I asked about it and she said it was a one-time thing and I am still a teenager and I don't have to worry because she's not going to tell anyone, and told me to do the same. Which relieved me. I stayed there for 2 more weeks before returning home. Then I got busy with my college and lost touch with them. The last time I saw her was at her daughter's wedding. We talked a little, and then she got busy with other guests. 2 years later, I learned from my mother that she had committed suicide. I called my cousin and asked about the details, and he told me that her husband was abusive to her mentally and physically, and that she had been struggling for years and he had seen her crying and complaining about her life to my aunt. I was devastated, regretting that I had only focused on my desires instead of her pain. I don't even know why she cooperated with my advances, maybe out of pity. I am not sure, but thinking back about that day, I might have noticed some bruises under her dress. Everything is a blur now, and I am worried that my brain is intentionally blocking the images. And last time I met her on that wedding, she didn't look happy but tired. I even stalked her daughter on FB to look through her old wedding photos to see if she looked happy. There were rumors that her husband was involved in her death, especially since he remarried just 3 months into her death. I should have noticed the signs. I have seen him being sore loser and exhibit anger after losing a card game even when there is nothing at stake. I have seen him fighting with his daughter because she had a boyfriend. I knew both of his daughters were terrified of him, but that is pretty much normalized in my country. One time, he and I got into a political argument. I rebutted all his points, and he became so furious and serious that his wife had to intervene to protect me. But he was funny every other time and won't hesitate to spend money for food and other items when I am around. I should have done something. I don't know what, but something that would kept her alive. Her passing affected me deeply, leading me to SH during my college days. I've kept this secret for years, even from my present psychiatrist. I am ashamed of myself and I thought it is better to keep it hidden. I believed I kinda got over it since it has been years and I left home and moved to Bahrain as part of my job. But now, her younger daughter sent me a request on Instagram which brought all those memories flooding back. It seems like I have to live with this guilt for the rest of my life.